This event has splintered the community in ways that I didn't think would ever happen. Some people are really happy, some people are really mad. This whole no traders thing is just crazy. I want to talk about the good. I want to talk about the bad. I want to talk about how Nikita just tweeted, relax, there's more things to come. And what that kind of means for maybe the Lighthouse expansion. I don't know, but I do want to talk about the good, the bad. And this is happening. I'm making this video less than 24 hours when it started. So a lot of things are going to change in the next few days, but let's just talk about right now. So Nikita posted a picture of like this big metal door. It had a number pad on it. It was door, or it was room number 428. Looked like he was in an office building, so probably streets, I'm guessing. And a lot of speculation happened. A lot of people are like looking really deep into this and saying, you know what, April 28th, something big is going to happen. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know. And now because of this event, I for sure think something is going to happen. I really do think Lighthouse expansion is tomorrow. I was definitely on the fence leaning towards no, but now tomorrow, I actually think it's going to happen. Now, what I do want to talk about is how Nikita tweeted all this stuff. So he's like, hey, like this and we'll get rid of the traders, like this and we'll get rid of also the flea market. And then they posted a picture and it was planned all along. I honestly think if he didn't hit that number of likes, he would have just been like, well, we're doing it anyways kind of thing. I think this was planned from the beginning. So it's not something that just was a spare of the moment thing from Nikita. This has been planned for a while here. So if Lighthouse does come out tomorrow, and that's a big if, even though I'm leaning towards it, maybe it won't happen, but if it does, that means we are going to get new bosses on Lighthouse. We're going to get the new trader. We're going to get the expansion. It's going to be really exciting. Now, the good, that's all the good, right? We get all this new stuff. The bad is only certain people really be able to experience it for the first 4 days. And that's also part of the good, actually, that this is only happening for 4 days. So, you don't have to have a super big meltdown, but I get the frustration and we'll talk about that later. But it's only like, a certain amount of the population that has a lot of good guns, that has a lot of good slicks, are really going to be able to experience this whole thing. And I know what you're saying probably right now. You're like, no, geeks, young, like low levels could do this too and stuff. And yeah, they could, but they're not going to, or it's going to be almost impossible for them to do it. Like they're not ready. They don't have anything available to them. So yeah, they technically could, but even with your low level traders and the flea market, at least you feel like you can kit up and really try to have a chance at experiencing this new stuff, where in the next 4 days, unless you're ready and you've been hoarding a lot of ammo, gear, and things like that, you're probably not going to be able to experience it. But I do think Nikita has something up his sleeve so that everyone can try to enjoy this new content. And even if they don't, again, it's only for 4 more days. I think once expansion hits, if it is tomorrow, it's only 4 more days of this, and then everyone can try it out. And you know what? I like this experiment for sure. Like it's a cool little experiment, but I also see the good and the bad, and I want to talk about both those things right now. If the expansion doesn't happen and this event is just an event, let's talk about the good and the bad of it. My dog Buna here just quickly wanted to come say hello and remind everyone, hey, hit the subscribe button. It's free for you guys, but it does mean the world to us. And she just wants to quickly say hi and show how cute she really is. She is so cute. Come on. I do make a lot of beginner guide videos, so I try to look at the game always through the eyes of a beginner, an intermediate, and a player that's been playing for a long time. And I'm doing that with this. So when I talk about the good and the bad, I'm trying to look at it from every perspective, the best I can at least. The number one good thing that I see coming from this is just the play style is going to change for over 90% of the player base. Yes, I know there are those chads that have a lot of gear. They are going to be having a lot of hordes of ammo, meds and everything like that. But I would say that's less than 10% of the player base right now that has all that hoarded up. Maybe 10% has a massive hoard of equipment that they can run. And I would say 90% of the player base doesn't. So it's going to significantly change the way people play. Like there is actual weight to death in this game right now. And that's something we haven't had since, I would say, the beginning of the wipe, really. And I'm just really excited to see how people play. You know, maybe you played a little more aggressively because you wanted to try to be that Chad, you know, and you knew, hey, if I die, I can still go buy an AKM or something and at least some PS ammo. Now you're going to be playing maybe a little more slow, maybe a little more tactical. And I think that's something that I really would like to see in this game, because that's the style I like to play. I like to play, you know, not super slow, obviously, but I know when to chat and when to, you know, play it slower. And I think this is going to definitely be putting an emphasis on playing it more methodical and more, I would say, like it's an actual survival game. Oh my God, right? It might actually be being played like an actual survival game. That's pretty cool. Also, the flow of the maps are going to be so different, so unique. I hope it really changes how people are playing any given map. Like, we all know that people are going to go to Reserve and Lighthouse because there are the Raiders and the Rogues. But like, if you're playing Interchange and you really want to push, say, like computers or something from before, so you would get a whole bunch of barter items, or you go to Techlight. Like, Techlight is gonna, like, who cares really, right? Like, unless you can hoard things and just put it in your stash for the next 4 days, maybe you're looking for, you know, specifics, like you're gonna grab the GPUs and stuff like that. But I think the tech stores are gonna be kind of, you know, no one will care about. And now, when everyone was saying how shitty Kiba was, now everyone's gonna be like, I gotta get the power on, we gotta go to Kiba and just grab everything. So the hotspots might be like Kiba now, Mantis and Mercom to try to get some meds, because those are so important. And if you don't have a stockpile of meds, you're going to be looking to grab a stockpile. I just really hope it changes the flow of the map and how things are getting done. You know, like 21WS doesn't get hit that often on Interchange. Maybe it will now, right? Because they have so many weapon parts and armor does spawn in there. It's just going to be really interesting, and I'm just using Interchange as an example because I think the flow is going to be significantly changed on how people are playing each and every map. So we talked about some of the interesting good things. Let's talk about some of the downsides to this whole thing. And I think the biggest one, and we can just see this, is there's nothing really except for PvP to do now. Now, it does become a survival game for sure. Like, it definitely does become, you want to survive, but you don't have any goals because all the quests are done. You don't get dailies, you don't get weeklies, which we can talk about, but I'm just going to quickly touch on it and say that sucks that if you were working on a weekly that you were close to, it's pretty much just wiped out. But here's the thing, let's just hope, I'm hoping that when everything comes back online, it just, all your dailies and your weeklies stay where they were. Like, let's just hope and give them the benefit of the doubt for that, right? But right now, there's no really clear goals to keep playing the game, right? If your goal was to level up your traders because you don't have them maxed out yet, you're constantly doing that, constantly doing quests to do stuff, and that's gone. So what's there left to do? Well, it's to kit yourself out and go out there, survive, and to make sure you're getting kitted out for the next raid, I guess, and kill people. Like, that's the thing is I know this is only for 5 days, you guys. That's the biggest thing I can say, and that's the biggest thing I'll tell you guys and keep saying. It's only for 5 days. It sucks, I know, and I'm sure this is going to be a test for something bigger, because they talked about how they want to make it so traders are gone. When the game releases, traders aren't always going to be there. They're going to take days off where they're like indisposed or something. So they are just testing for that right now, I'm sure. But the biggest thing I think is just, what's the point of playing right now? Like, what is going to be the goal for people wanting to do this? And that's where I really think Lighthouse is going to be coming, because for the next 5 days, what's the goal? Like, why would people want to play? So I think they are going to be dropping, if it's not Lighthouse, they're going to do something. There has to be a carrot at the end of the stick, because there's no real incentive unless you do have a horde of everything to really play, or you really think this is super interesting, you like the idea of survival, and you want to go from, you know, 0 to hero and see what you can do. So if that's the case, yeah, there is a goal. But I would say getting rid of traders, getting rid of your tasks, getting rid of all that stuff, you're taking away mechanics that really is the carrot at the end of the stick for a lot of people, and we got to figure out why they're doing that now. there's no way BSG and Nikita just alienates over half their player base with this, right? They have the stats on, you know, what everyone has in their stash, what level they are. There's no way they just alienate so much of the population for nothing. And with the recent tweet about how the hostages went into hiding, and there's a whole canon to this, the whole story about it, I really do think that Lighthouse is coming, and it is going to make people want to play more. And who knows, maybe this is also the start to global tasks. As a community, we have to complete them together, and then say the traders come back, right? So let's just say that Lighthouse expansion comes, and say, you know, 100,000 people have to go. You have to visit the Lighthouse Keeper 100,000 times, and then the traders come back. You know, this would be a cool way to introduce not only the Lighthouse expansion, but maybe global tasks that everyone has to do together, and there's something that happens when we reach that goal. I'm just throwing ideas out there, because if there isn't a Lighthouse expansion, I thought something cooler would have been maybe let only barters happen, right? I know they are trying to, you know, have this story and this canon happening, but I thought it would have been cool if everyone had to play hardcore Tarkov. You know, it would have been a little more interesting, and I think it would have been an easier pill to swallow is if the traders still had at least some barters up there. But we're gonna have to wait and see. And me making this video super early, it's gonna be a lot of shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm totally wrong and the expansion doesn't come out. Maybe I'm right, expansion does come out and it's totally different. All I know is I see both sides to this coin, and in the end of the day, it's only for 5 days. Even if nothing happens, it's only for 5 days. It's not worth really getting angry at. And I've seen, you know, I've been really looking at Twitter, I've been really looking at Reddit, and I get the frustration, but I don't get the real frustration where people are starting to get mad at each other and calling out names and saying like get good or stuff like that. Like, we don't need that in this community. So I'm hoping there is going to be something that comes from this, because if not, it just caused these ripples in the community that we really just didn't need. I would love to hear what your impression of this whole event is. It would be really interesting. And then you can comment in like 2 or 3 days and be like, Geeks, you were wrong, you were right. You know what I mean? You can just give me shit in the comments then. But either way, I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video. You know, you can subscribe to the channel. It's free for you guys, but it does mean the world to me. And until next time, I'll just talk to everyone later.